The setting. Why was Despot Donnie in the 901? A law enforcement roundtable held in Memphis on Monday, March 23, 2026. President Trump, Stephen Miller, and Kash Patel were present. Miller's public comments in Trump style, Despot Donnie went around the room, sucking up praise. Miller was first to kiss the ring. Miller delivered a 3-minute speech praising President Trump, calling the administration's crime crackdown a national miracle that will be studied for centuries to come. Largest number of criminals arrested, removed, or deported in American history, which was misleading. ICE detention levels did reach record highs. But Miller's wording smuggles in two problems. Then Trump jokingly challenged Patel to top that, prompting Patel to deliver his own praise during Trump's remarks about Iran's missile capabilities. Cameras captured Miller turning his head and letting out a noticeable sigh. The clip went viral on social media. A White House spokesperson dismissed the coverage as overblown. Fact check. What was said versus what is verified. Here's what Stephen Miller proclaimed. Trump's crime crackdown is a national miracle. Lowest national murder rate in 125 years. Verdict. Overstated, only partly supported, half true. Largest reduction in murders in American history. Verdict. Mostly supported, but still preliminary. Largest reduction in violent crime in American history. Verdict. Not proven, so that's a lie. Lowest national murder rate in 125 years. Verdict. Overstated, only partly supported. Crime researchers broadly agree 2025. Likely produced the lowest murder rate since at least 1960, and the Council on Criminal Justice said the homicide rate may be the lowest since 1900. This is Miller's opinion, not a measurable statistic. No independent data was cited in the speech, therefore, opinion, not a factual claim. So that's a lie. Miller stated Iran's missile capabilities were growing so fast that the U.S. had to strike preemptively. This was Trump's justification, not Miller's reporting confirms. The U.S. had already conducted strikes and was considering ground deployments. Public polling at the time showed 2/3 of Americans viewed the Iran war as a war of choice. Therefore, claim is disputed and not universally accepted, so that's a lie. Miller's third claim has consistently opposed Middle East wars reporting, shows Miller previously campaigned on Trump being a peace candidate and criticized warmongering neocons. However, publicly he supported Trump's Iran strikes in 2026. Therefore, historically accurate, but his stance shifted in 2026. Why Memphis matters? Why the 901? Federal crime crackdown. The Memphis event was part of a broader federal initiative to support local law enforcement. Miller has previously told Memphis police they were being unleashed with federal backing. He said criminals have no idea how ruthless we are, referring to federal support. Memphis Mayor Paul Young opposed National Guard deployment. Critics, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, called the approach a threat to democracy. Iran war backdrop. The U.S. had already lost 13 American troops in the conflict. Military leaders were drafting plans for potential ground deployments. Reactions and public response. Supporters praised the administration's tough-on-crime stance. Miller's praise of Trump was well received by the president and his team. Critics focused on the aggressive tone toward crime. The contradiction between Miller's past anti-war messaging and current support for Iran strikes the viral sigh moment as a sign of internal disagreement. If you found this factual breakdown helpful, hit like and subscribe for more verified, citation-based explainers. Drop a comment below. Do you think the Memphis event was strategic messaging, internal tension, or something else entirely? At Monday's March 23, 2026, Memphis Safe Task Force Roundtable, FBI Director Kash Patel was challenged by Despot Donnie to top Miller's comments. Patel mostly praises Trump and the Memphis crackdown, not a detailed policy briefing. He argued that Memphis showed what happens when law enforcement has presidential backing. Patel said Trump backed the blue, resourced police, funded the military, and did whatever it takes to safeguard every single life. He framed the people in uniform and local law enforcement as the greatest warriors and said the difference was that now they had a commander-in-chief supporting them. Verdict: mostly political framing, not cleanly fact-checkable. That line is more rhetoric than a measurable claim. Patel was really piling on the cow dung. Patel also said the Memphis operation had allowed authorities to go after gang members, rapists, murderers, and drug dealers at what he called record historic levels, partly supported but overstated verdict. Overstated attribution. He then made it personal. Patel said he was a first-generation Indian American whose parents fled genocide in East Africa, and said becoming FBI director was the wildest dream he could imagine. He credited Trump for making that possible and said Trump's leadership was inspiring future generations to join law enforcement. He closed by saying the Memphis mission would last for generations and thanked Trump for, in Patel's words, helping deliver the safest country on God's green earth. That's a lie. Patel's Memphis remarks were mostly a pep rally, not a data briefing. The strongest factual core is that the task force really did rack up thousands of arrests, and Memphis really did see a crime decline. The weakest parts are the record historic levels. Wording, the way he blurred arrests into convictions, the implication that Trump caused the whole turnaround, and the absurd claim that America is now the safest country on earth. Stephen Miller mixed real trends with overclaiming the best supported parts are the sharp drop in murders nationally and the big drop in Memphis crime. The weakest parts are the 125-year certainty, the overdose claim, the vague fentanyl claim, and the suggestion that record numbers of criminals were deported or arrested overall. I'd rate his Memphis remarks as a blend of mostly real data, exaggerated attribution, and several statements that went beyond what the evidence can actually prove. The setting.
No crime.
U.S. President Donald Trump praised his administration's crime crackdown in Memphis, Tennessee during a visit there on Monday, in a return to an issue he hopes will resonate with voters ahead of the midterm elections.
So we brought together 22 federal agencies, state and local police, and 1,500 members of the incredible National Guard to smash the grip of the violent criminals in this iconic American city.
Trump's political advisors want him talking about kitchen table issues, but affordability concerns and his recent foreign policy pursuits have overshadowed his domestic trips. His roundtable event in Memphis came as the war against Iran entered its fourth week.
I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran. Now Iran has one more opportunity to end its threats to America and our allies, and we hope they take it. Either way, America and the entire world will soon be much safer and will be a much more secure planet.
The conflict in the Middle East is dominating Trump's agenda and driving up gasoline prices globally. Republicans hope that Trump highlighting a crime reduction in a large city will help bring the conversation back to a political territory that their party has often embraced in the past. Trump is also working to redefine his law enforcement record after a tumultuous crackdown on illegal immigration in Minnesota earlier this year. The Trump administration launched the Memphis Safe Task Force last September. The multi-agency effort involves federal officers, local police, and the Tennessee National Guard to fight violent crime. Before the initiative was launched, the city of Memphis had the highest rate of violent crime per capita in the country, according to the FBI. Overall, crime is down in Memphis by about 43% compared to last year, according to local law enforcement data.